Let's go ahead and get started here, everybody. So good evening, friends, and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Hopefully you all are doing well. Today is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. It's about 9:13 p.m. Eastern Time here live, reporting from New York City. We're on the corner of East 56th Street, Madison Avenue, and on today's live stream, I want to head all the way over to the east side of Manhattan. We're going to go all the way over to Sutton Place. We'll check out Sutton Place Park. There's going to be magnificent views of not only the 59th Street Bridge, but all the way out to Roosevelt Island and even Long Island City. And I feel as if every time the weather's a little bit crummy on the stream, we tend to head over to the east side anyway. So I think it'll be cool to kind of see the views from Manhattan, overlooking the East River, 59th Street Bridge, and into the one and only Long Island City. So that's where we'll go today on the agenda. But for the financial markets, there's actually a lot to talk about. Today there was some monstrous price action, not only in the US equity markets and emerging markets too, but really concentrated to the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now, Bitcoin has gone on an absolute tear, performing very, very well. The current price of Bitcoin is $61,345. Now, as a quick reminder, the all-time record high for Bitcoin was set back in November of 2021, when it topped out at $69,000. We're just a stone's throw away from it. We're more than likely going to take out those highs. And in my view, I think this is only the beginning of a very, very early bull market, particularly in a halvening cycle and the like. But I want to talk to you about an interesting statistic today, which kind of blew my mind as I was kind of watching the markets. Now, obviously we know that Bitcoin is now trading above $60,000. But if you look at the fund flows into a lot of these Bitcoin ETFs, now there's a difference, okay? Now the reason why it's so important is because prior to all but a month ago, the ETFs surrounding Bitcoin were futures ETFs, meaning if you bought one of these ETFs, you were not actually holding the underlying value of the coin, Bitcoin. You were buying something that speculates on the futures contract. So it was pretty much a derivative product, a derivative of a derivative product. With all of these new ETFs that are now on the market, particularly the spot Bitcoin ETFs, when somebody buys one of those ETFs, the managers of those ETFs have to go out and in turn purchase Bitcoin, right, the physical asset, and then hold it custody somewhere, right? The vast majority of the Bitcoin ETFs out there, from BlackRock and the like, they choose Coinbase as their custody. But Fidelity, I think they have self-custody. But today, there was a record $520 million inflows into the BlackRock ETF just today. Now, the ticker symbol is IBIT, and it saw its biggest one-day session since its initiation, since it came public. Insane. I mean, to kind of think about the validity of that, we're going to be doing a deeper dive into this tomorrow when we write about this in the Behind the Street newsletter. I think it's very important to kind of track fund flows into these different ETF products. Again, many of you don't like Bitcoin. Doesn't matter. It's important to pay attention to it because we can use it to gauge risk in the market. Chances are people are choosing to gain exposure to Bitcoin. People are probably feeling well. That is a risk-on asset. Okay, that is not, in my opinion, right? We could debate this. If people are bidding up cryptocurrencies, right, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the like, that is very indicative of risk-on, right, bull market. So it's important. So $520 million inflows into the BlackRock ETF, IBIT, that's significant. We're going to talk a little bit about that more later in tomorrow's newsletter. Now, switching gears here, let's talk about enterprise software and our good friend Mark Benioff. So Mark Benioff, as we know, is the CEO and founder of Salesforce. It is publicly traded under the ticker symbol CRM. Now, they are a SaaS giant, software as a service giant that specializes in customer relationship management software. Now, they reported earnings today after the bell. There was some volatile action in after hours trading, but overall it's pretty much flat on the day. Now, Salesforce did beat analyst expectations on both the top and the bottom line. They reported $2.29 worth of EPS, or earnings per share, when many Wall Street analysts were expecting only $2.26. So we had a beat on the bottom line. Talking about top line revenue, Salesforce reported $9.29 billion worth of revenue, when many analysts on the street expected $9.22 billion. Some breaking news: Salesforce will now initiate a dividend. Yes, that is true. Salesforce, right, following in the footsteps of Meta, which is now also paying a dividend. The dividend is going to start effective immediately and pay shareholders 40 cents a share. Revenue was up 10% year over year, and if we want to talk about profitability or net income, Salesforce took in $1.45 billion just last quarter alone. So let's go ahead. I'm going to close up the laptop here, my friends. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat, and we will get this stream started. Now, as a quick reminder, tomorrow is Thursday, okay? It is Thursday, February 29th, the last day of February. We will be sending out our 4th issue of the Behind the Street newsletter, which is our free investing newsletter where we cover emerging markets, US markets, fixed income, real estate, and the like. So if you want to receive that tomorrow, okay, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email, because there is going to be a lot that we are going to write about tomorrow. Okay, this is an example of what the newsletter looks like. Last week we talked about a lot, such as the 2008 financial crisis. We did a comparative analysis between the 1929 stock market crash. We talked about small cap stocks, Russell 2000, micro caps, semiconductors, biotech, Dow transports, US manufacturing activity. There's so much that we cover and talk about. You do not want to miss it. Go ahead, scan the QR code, and sign up for free. And we will see you guys tomorrow. So give me a minute, and thank you all for joining. Now, here's the funny thing. I have the umbrella tonight. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna need it though. So we'll be on the lookout if we really need the umbrella or not. So Mr. King of Florida, thank you so much for joining us. I see Patrick D says howdy Thomas. What's up, Patrick? Crypto Meme is here. Oh, maybe my QR code is expired. JC, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining us. Fun Feeds, Andy is here. G. Raymond, Joseph, Palmer. Now, Palmer, every time I read your YouTube handle, I think of Palmer Luckey. Anybody familiar with Palmer Luckey? He is the founder. He's actually the reason why we have all of these Oculus products. But if you think about the Meta Quest, and if you think about Apple Vision Pro, Palmer Luckey was actually the pioneer in these, VR/AR goggles. So, dude, incredible story. I mean, he was literally building these things out of like a spare van. It's crazy. Anyway, it's going to be a wet and windy night, so I do apologize if we have a lot of wind noise in the microphone. We'll just kind of have to deal with that as the night goes along. UniJ23, thanks so much for joining us on this wild night in New York City. We have this beautiful shot of Harry Macklow's 432 Park Avenue. Quite stunning. Colton Manning is joining us. What's up? Daniel G from Buenos Aires, Argentina and Hawaii. Good to see everybody. We're going to be heading to the Upper East Side of Manhattan today. But first, we're going to be stopping by Sutton Place. We're going to be going past Sutton Place Park, overlooking the East River, as well as the 59th Street Bridge. So we're going to have some pretty cool views tonight. I see Amazing Day. What's going on? Welcome, welcome, Molly. Duran, thanks for joining us. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy day on the street, right? You know, not to make the whole stream about Bitcoin, but I think it's pretty important that we cover it. You know, now that we have these ETF products, which, you know, personally, I would never buy one of those ETF products. That's just me. I think it kind of violates the whole value proposition of Bitcoin in the first place, right? If you have somebody else custody your Bitcoin for you, the only value that I really see in Bitcoin, and which is the reason why I've owned it for a long time and continue to own it, is that it's truly unconfiscatable money, right? And permissionless money. So if I go and buy a BlackRock product, right, like the new spot Bitcoin ETF, ticker symbol IBIT, I'm just giving my money to BlackRock and I'm saying, okay, BlackRock, you go ahead and give this Bitcoin to Coinbase and have them custody it for me, right? Which I understand, right? Not everybody in the world wants to go through, you know, all of the hassle to self-custody their own Bitcoin, right? But as I like to say, and if we have any true Bitcoiners in here, you know, you've probably heard of not your keys, not your coins. But look, this is an institutional asset class now, and I think that is quite solidified. You know, even people now that are against Bitcoin and that have been, you know, downplaying it since 2016, 2017, when I first discovered it, it's kind of, you kind of can't have an argument that it's not an institutional asset class, right? The amount of fund flows that are going into these Bitcoin ETFs is just insane. There was about $520 million just today that went into that one Bitcoin spot ETF product. So again, not to sound like a broken record, but I think it's important, right, as investors, that we kind of watch and track this stuff, regardless if you think the thing is good or not, right? Let's say if you don't even want to own it, that's fine. Wow, that guy was speeding like crazy. It's very important to kind of watch the price action of this stuff because, you know, it's a great way to gauge risk on the street. And generally speaking, during bull markets, investors are more prone and more apt to take risk. So as we have Bitcoin now trading close to new all-time record highs, you know, back in November of 2021, Bitcoin hit a new all-time record high of 69,000. I think today, intraday, we traded at 64,000, but we're back down at like 61,000. It's just wild, really, really wild to see this. So we'll keep our eye on it. And congratulations to all those longs out there. Hey, sunshine after rain, thanks so much for joining us. Robert, welcome. Robert says, if I don't hold it in my hand, I won't buy it. I respect it. G. Raymond says, think people believe that if it's an ETF, it's safer, the volatility is the same. Well, no, I don't think it has anything to do with the volatility or not, right? I don't think it really has to do anything with the volatility. It's just that it's an approved product by the Securities and Exchange Commission, right? And that's been, you know, and I know a lot of people in the institutional investing world. And one of the main reasons why select institutions couldn't get access to Bitcoin is really just the regulatory environment, right? If you are, you know, running money for a pension fund or something, you know, is it really a good look to gain exposure to an asset class that fully is embedded and, you know, essentially given the stamp of approval by the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States? Probably not. So I think now that we finally have a true regulatory oversight and judgment, right, from the SEC to say, hey, these select products have our stamp of approval. That's gonna, number one, not only provide the institutional community with some comfort, but also the retail aspect too, which I should say the mainstream retail. Because before all of these ETFs, and we can get into the technicals about the custody and all that, I don't really think that matters. What matters is the masses getting exposure to the product in this case being Bitcoin, and that's going to change a lot of things in a big way. Now this is Park Avenue and 57th Street. This is a pretty cool shot. We're looking all the way down by the MetLife building, as well as Grand Central Station and 425 Park Avenue. Pretty cool. Now, one of the things that I believe you'll find quite interesting on tomorrow's newsletter that we send out to everybody, I'm going to be putting together some data tracking the overall fund flows into these specific products, so we can kind of gauge desirability on the street. And I think it'll be fun to kind of analyze that together. Hey, DC322, what's going on? Thanks so much. Looks like this is a coin and collection shop. This is kind of cool. Now you'll notice something here once we get off of 57th Street. But before I say that, you know what I was thinking the other day? I was like, obviously 57th Street is New York City's Billionaires Row. But when you really think about it, 57th Street is a very loud and busy street because there's two-way traffic. There's both eastbound traffic and westbound traffic on 57th Street. So, I understand the desirability and the allure, so to speak, of living right on 57th Street. But that is one, not to be negative on it, but that is one kind of drawdown about Billionaires Row. So, that I think people should consider. It's a very noisy street. There's a lot of through traffic here, particularly a lot of trucks, a lot of, like heavy equipment go through 57th Street to head over to the east side, to head over to the Hudson Yards. So it's quite loud. Now, obviously, if you take a building like 157, right, which was the first building ever to be constructed on New York City's Billionaires Row, the residences start on the 32nd floor. So anything below the 32nd floor is the hotel, right? So the Park Hyatt Hotel. The higher up you go, you're obviously going to get a lot of noise mitigation there. But I've been in the building many times, and some of the lower units, you can actually hear a lot of street noise. In my view, you need to get up above the 50th floor to kind of really have a lot of that noise blocked out. So it's something to think about. 57th Street's a pretty busy street. Hey, Doug Thompson. What's up, Doug? Good to see you. Speaking of the noise, you'll notice the street noise is pretty much going to vanish. It's going to go away almost entirely as we head towards Sutton Place. I would say once we cross 3rd Avenue, walking towards the east side of Manhattan, it's going to get very quiet. And it's going to be a nice contrast from what we usually experience on the live streams, walking around Midtown Manhattan, Times Square, neighborhood, Rockefeller Center, also Columbus Circle. Hey, Football Shane Life. Good to see you. It's good to see you too. Thanks so much for joining us. We're actually not too far away from Bloomberg's headquarters, which is a great building. Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City. Now, we were talking about Bernie Madoff the other night on the live stream because of this building, the Lipstick Building. That's where he ran his Ponzi scheme that blew up in 2008. And I just wanted to quickly say thank you to one of our viewers that sent me a really cool, investment classic the other day. I got it about 2 days ago. It's if anybody's ever taken a finance class, you probably know the textbook, the Brealey and Myers corporate finance textbook, which I have a copy of it, by the way, but thank you so much for sending me another copy of it. And I was looking at it today because I really finished all my work around, I'd say like 6:30, and I cracked open that textbook and I was reading it again all the way up until we started streaming. And it's just such a great refresher on corporate finance in and of itself. And at the very beginning of the textbook, it talked about, Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme, right? As it was talking about, on the ethics section of the textbook. It's insane that, if it weren't for the kind of the financial crisis, it's very possible that Ponzi scheme could have gone on in a much longer duration too, which is absolutely insane. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of you have been sending me very nice things to my office, so I do appreciate it. But just know that you don't have to do that. You don't have to send me things, but I really do appreciate everybody who's been so kind in sending me like finance textbooks, coffee mugs, and all types of awesome stuff. So thank you guys for that. Now this is Bloomberg. We're looking at him right here. We might as well take a short detour and make a left just so we can look at the corporate headquarters and check it out. This is the corner of East 58th Street and 3rd Avenue. Hey, Dan Sang, what's up? This is Hey Tom. I met a VC guy today at a network event. He was telling me competition for investing in startups among VC has gone up a lot. Yeah, I mean, the whole VC ecosystem is starting to recover. And I think it's interesting because a lot of the media now has been giving a lot of coverage to all of these tech layoffs. And that's done now, I think, in my view, right? The media covers it, usually every main story at the tail end of it. Technology in general, right, and also very small tech startups, that went through its bear market already, in my opinion, right, which started in 2021. It went all the way through 2022 and 2023. And I think you're going to have a big rebound in 2024 and in 2025. So look, chances are if you were working in tech as a software engineer or even in sales or even at a PM position, product manager, we went through a lot of layoffs. It was not easy, right, to be in tech over the last 2 years. I'm confident that's going to rebound, just like it does in every single market cycle. You're starting to see early stage venture investments start to pick up. You're starting to see a lot of M&A activity, pick up. And, it just takes time. So I would agree. All right, guys, this, my friends, is the New York City Bloomberg headquarters. I like the architecture of the building. It's very unique. What do you guys think? Now, from my understanding, the building closest to 3rd Avenue is the Bloomberg Studios. So if you watch like Bloomberg TV, they actually broadcast it live right here. Then you have the main rotunda where the employees get dropped off. Then you have the ETF products room up there, which one of my buddies works at. And then more corporate stuff in the tower. I really, really like Bloomberg headquarters. Maybe we'll try to walk directly through the roundabout here just so you can get a little bit better perspective. Yeah, Optimus 17 says, love the building. Elias is not very tall. Hawaii, what's going on? Hey, V8 York says, how about the real estate market in Manhattan specifically? Now, it's an interesting question because the real estate market in Manhattan specifically is also even more specific, right? And I'll sort of tell you what I mean by that. Manhattan in general, even though it's a very small place, in terms of evaluating real estate, particularly not only on residential but commercial, every single neighborhood is very niche specific. And I'd like to present a few examples, if I may, as we're waiting to cross the street illegally here in a jaywalking type fashion. So you have specific neighborhoods in Manhattan that are still trading at significant premium. Some of those neighborhoods are probably like a Tribeca, right? Tribeca is still white hot. I think it's slowing down a little bit. But other neighborhoods such as Sutton Place, ironically, that we are gonna be walking right now, we're gonna head all the way to the east side and head to Sutton Place. You're actually seeing those apartments, in my opinion, trade at discounts, right? And one of the ways we can do a comparative analysis between the different neighborhoods is look at the valuations on a price per square foot basis. And you could do this yourself. You could do this yourself if you just go to Street Easy. Property Shark is another good resource. And right now, Sutton Place, particularly a lot of the older buildings, you know, the pre-war co-ops, the cooperatives, you know, you can get product for like $1,000 a foot, which is very cheap, in my opinion, because Sutton Place has been a neighborhood that has fallen out of fashion. The trend over the years in Manhattan has been more towards condominiums, okay? Because think about millennials, think about Gen Z, and think about what their likes and desires are. This is actually another brand new condo that they built. This almost kind of looks like it should be in Miami. This looks like something that you would pass on Collins Avenue with these balconies. It's pretty beautiful, but you know, Gen Z and millennials, they value lifestyle. They value, you know, the gyms, the swimming pools, the dog spas, and they don't want to be confined by a lot of these rules and regulations that present themselves in co-ops, right? Condos, it's not like there's no rules at all, but co-ops have very strict rules about how many people can be in there at a time, you know, registering guests, subletting, very strict rules on subletting. So that is why I believe Sutton Place is trading at a very steep discount. But everything is cyclical, I believe. So if you can scoop up an apartment right at $1,000 a foot, and then maybe if the market recovers in 5 to 10 years, you could flip that for $1,500 or $1,700 a foot. You know, I don't know if it'll be that high, but if you can make some improvements to the property, I see value in that neighborhood. But generally speaking, and I want to know if you guys agree or disagree, right? I've always said this, and again, this is my opinion, but if you buy anything from 57th Street in between 8th Avenue and 5th Avenue, all the way up to East 60th Street or West 60th Street, it's always going to retain its value. To me, that is like the New York City golden era, so to speak. Because you're right at the base of Central Park, you're near all major transit hubs. You know, 59th Street, Columbus Circle. You can get the M train now at 57th Street. You can get the N, R, and W trains at 5th Avenue. You're very close to the business district, right on Billionaires Row. So anything Central Park South up really hugging Central Park is always going to do really well. And there's always going to be a lot of demand for resales there. When I think about myself, if I'm going to buy in New York City, which I will, I'm going to buy in that sort of zone right there. Elias is too noisy. I feel like it's crazy noisy tonight. Let's try to quickly get to Sutton Place. Now, I'm kind of going to have a laugh here. Hopefully I don't spark a political debate in the chat, but I've noticed over the last few days, particularly at night, the street noise has been so loud because of all of these trucks. And if you were listening to the news, or you were listening to any of the trolls in the chat that have been venomously, attacking me on the stream over the past 5 days, you would just hear, oh, trucker boycott, trucker boycott, trucker boycott. I've never seen so many damn trucks in this city. So loud, right? Barreling down 57th Street. So if anything, for whatever reason, I feel the opposite. I've never seen so many loud, big rig trucks barreling down the city over the last 3 days. I don't know what's going on, but it's kind of the opposite. Anyway. All right, let's go back to 57th Street and we'll bang a left and then we'll go all the way to Sutton Place Park, where we're gonna get a lot better views. So. Let's cross, headed eastbound. I may have to open up the umbrella in a moment. It's kind of starting to rain again. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these streams almost every day, starting at 8:30. This is another really cool shot of 432 Park Avenue. Now, really quickly touching on New York City real estate for a moment. Did anybody see the CEO of Douglas Elliman on CNBC today? So, our CEO, that's the broker dealer I work for, Douglas Elliman, he was presenting on CNBC the annualized Knight Frank ultra high net worth, sort of like demand book for real estate. And the two top cities for 2024 for ultra high net worth individuals looking to purchase property. Football Shane Life says, hey Tom, you're missing my comments. I'm trying the best I can. I'll try to get to everybody. There's probably there's a lot of people. I'm trying to get to everybody. But the top two cities that are set to attract the most buying from high net worth individuals, number one is New York City, and number two is Miami, Florida, which kind of makes sense. New York City, regardless of, what a lot of the negative sentiment is saying in the media, there's been an unbelievable amount of record transactions this year alone, right? We just had a $110 million penthouse sell at the top of Central Park Tower. We just had a $50 million transaction downtown. And Miami is just, I've actually been surprised by the amount of demand down in Miami. And I actually own property down there, right? And 2024 so far has totally exceeded my expectations for demand in South Florida. So it was interesting to read that sort of Knight Frank research piece. If you go to CNBC.com, you could read it for yourself. New York City is at the top of the list for 2024 for high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals to purchase a property. Now, additionally, the main catalyst that they're talking about as to why high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals are purchasing is due to quality of life and lifestyle. So again, kind of a narrative buster. It's even a little bit of a narrative breaker for me because, the city's going through some tough times. And I think that's, we can't deny that. So to have such high interest in purchasing in New York City, and the number one catalyst or the number one factor being quality of life and lifestyle, I think that's just a testament to a lot of the new buildings, right, that have all of these crazy amenities that cater to a specific set of lifestyle. It's kind of interesting, actually. Hey, Brad, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining us. I see Jafet Perez. Welcome. Always a pleasure to have you. Yeah, SwearWorks is it's a big, wide world. Lots of countries and places to buy. Now, that's a very good comment because for the first time, I think actually the first time in history, Americans, so people from the United States, took the number one spot at acquiring trophy property in London. It used to be Russians and Saudis, people from Saudi Arabia, but US, high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth are now acquiring the most trophy property in London, which was a total surprise for me. Huge surprise. Okay, we are now here at Sutton Place. Feels much more quiet and relaxing here, doesn't it? Try to wipe the thing here. Just really, really beautiful buildings here. Look at that. So this is East 57th Street and Sutton Place. It's technically Sutton Place South. This is one of my favorite neighborhoods in New York. Let's go ahead and cross a little bit further eastbound. You can see the 59th Street Bridge in the distance. We're actually about to go to Sutton Place Park. Says, are you over near Sutton Place? This is as close as we're gonna get. We are here in Sutton Place. It's a beautiful neighborhood. Definitely has an older vibe, but a lot more quiet. And I've said this before, but we do have a lot of new viewers. I'd say one of the main reasons why I really enjoy Sutton Place is because you feel like you're totally secluded away from the noise and the hustle and bustle of the city. However, you're only a few blocks away from major business districts. We are quite literally on 57th Street right now. If you walk just a few more blocks, you'll be right back on Park Avenue, which is the financial capital of the world. You can see Steinway Tower in the distance. So you're in a commuting distance from work, right? You could walk to Park Avenue, Midtown Manhattan. So be in close proximity, but have a very quiet neighborhood and community feel. Also with really beautiful architecture too. Yeah, RPTs is quiet and affordable, for sure. Like I said, if you do some research, And it's very easy to do on your own. You could just go to Street Easy, or you could go to Property Shark. Look up, you know, these apartments are very big here, generally speaking. And some of them are going for like $1,000, $1,200 a foot, sometimes even less. For a really nice place to live, maybe this is for you. Look at how gorgeous these townhomes are. Hey, Live Walk NYC, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. I mean, look at how quaint and beautiful these townhomes are. Kyle Lacey says that is insanely high. No, it's actually insanely low. It's really, really cheap. Again, we're doing a comparative analysis of the island of Manhattan, right? So let's not do a comparative analysis to, you know, rural West Virginia in the mountains somewhere, okay? This is a comparative analysis on a price per square foot basis on the island of Manhattan. So don't take a national average, you know, or somewhere in, you know, rural Idaho to do the comparative analysis. That would skew the data set quite a bit. All right, this is Sutton Place Park. So you have this really nice park that's open to the public here. You can sit on these benches and overlook the 59th Street Bridge and Roosevelt Island. If you look closely, you can actually see the Roosevelt Island tram going down there. It's really amazing. Now imagine living in these townhomes here. You have a dedicated private driveway. I mean, that in itself in Manhattan is unbelievable. So you have your own private gated security driveway. Stunning townhomes with these bay windows. Down here is your private backyard. So imagine being in Manhattan, right? Having your own private driveway. It's like living in the suburbs. Security, backyard, and you have this view all the time. Crazy. And by the way, almost zero foot traffic. So if you're looking for someplace to move, again, if you don't need all of the fancy amenities like the gyms, the dog spas, you know, state-of-the-art swimming pools, and you just want a nice place to live, you know, maybe Sutton Place is for you. I mean, look at those backyards. I'm not too sure what time it is, but I'd assume it's like maybe 10 o'clock at night, and we are the only one here at Sutton Place Park. Hey, Esmeralda, thanks so much for joining us. We're checking out the east side of Manhattan today, a very underexplored neighborhood. And I would also suggest this to tourists too. You know, a lot of times when tourists are coming to New York City for the first time, they just hang around Midtown Manhattan, Times Square, but this is a really peaceful place to come. DB55 ERS, this is that Greenpoint. No, but you know, Greenpoint, Brooklyn is a fantastic neighborhood. I actually used to live in Greenpoint, Brooklyn myself. So right as you come over the Pulaski Bridge, for all of those who are familiar, I lived right on DuPont Street. So I would take the 7 train to Vernon Jackson Boulevard and I would walk over the bridge, and I was the first house, I was 2 houses in on the right on DuPont. I love Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Love it. What we're looking at right now is Long Island City. And as you can tell, Long Island City, the price has doubled over the last 10 years. So everything that we're seeing now is Long Island City. But right under the 59th Street Bridge, you're looking at Roosevelt Island. You can see Roosevelt Island Racket Club. Now, just a quick reminder, everybody, tomorrow is Thursday. So we will be sending out our free investing newsletter tomorrow, right as the market closes. But I'm also going to include a really unique property tour in there. It is the last available sponsor unit on New York City's Billionaires Row in the 157 building. So if you want to receive that tomorrow afternoon, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email. And again, right as the stock market closes, you will get that email. We're going to cover US equity markets, emerging markets, fixed income, and New York City real estate, with a pretty interesting tour of the last available unit at 157 West 57th Street on New York City's Billionaires Row. Now that is the Extel building. So Gary Burnett's company developed Extel, or developed 157 and Central Park Tower. Now, even this townhome is insane. During the day, if you come here, in these bay windows that you see right here, it's a big spiral staircase that spans 3 floors. So as you're walking up the spiral staircase, you have these amazing views of Long Island City. I mean, I could only imagine living here. You see the Altice Tower over there, which I think used to be Citigroup. But yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen Sutton Place yet on the live stream, what are your initial thoughts? Do you like the neighborhood? Do you think it's a little bit too quiet? Do you want to be in all the action? Now remember, a lot of these buildings are pre-war, but they've gone through complete gut renovations. So you could see one garage here. So you have your personalized garage. This looks like it was just completed with the full restoration. Hey, Tariq Khan. Good to see you, Tariq. We'll give you one look at these townhomes with the private driveways. And let's explore uptown a little bit. We'll have a front row seat at the 59th Street Bridge. Hey, Christian says, hey Tom, what's going on? Hey, Kamani says, I love it. You're close enough to the action, but come home to a peaceful neighborhood. I totally agree. Hey, Swearworks says, do you ride the tram? Not really, actually. I haven't. Maybe that's something that we'll do when the weather improves a little bit. We'll take a ride on the Roosevelt Island tram. Speaking of it, you guys can see it coming across right now. It's right here. This is 35 Sutton Place. Look how cool that is. I'll try to wipe the camera lens. So if you head straight up 3rd Avenue, that's going to take you, or this is York, excuse me. If you head straight up York Avenue, that's going to be in the heart of the Upper East Side. We'll wait for the light here. This is an indoor tennis facility directly under the bridge. All right, we have the light. I always enjoy giving the viewers this shot coming up here. It's right after 40 Sutton Place. Across the street, you can see this amazing shot of all these townhomes here, just to kind of see the architecture. And I really hope the city keeps it like this, by the way. I hope that, you know, a lot of these buildings on New York City Sutton Place don't get torn down. Many of them probably can't get torn down because they're protected, like historical buildings. But I think if you just walk down the street and then you have a random, you know, massive glass skyscraper, I think it's just going to totally throw off the architectural flair of the neighborhood, in my opinion. And I think you'll understand what I'm talking about in a moment when we pan the camera over across the street. I mean, look at this strip of townhomes right on Sutton Place. What do you guys think? This is my all-time favorite. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 townhomes right next to each other. I can only imagine what it's like owning one of those. They look amazing. Let me see if I could zoom out a little bit just so we can get a better picture. I think it's going to be too, I think it's too dark. Ah, well. I'll take a standalone walking video here one of these nights. They're stunning. Absolutely love these. All right, so let's go back to 57th Street as we pass 16 Sutton Place. And we'll keep the time. I think this will be a good exercise, just so we could figure out how long it takes us to get back to Park Avenue, right? So 57th Street and Park, that's where some of the biggest financial firms are, you know, hedge funds. All right, so maybe somebody in the chat keep a timer. And let's time how long it takes us to walk from Sutton Place, 57th Street, to Park Avenue, 57th Street. So, okay, imagine we just come out of the house. We make this left, and we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm sure somebody has the timer up. And this way we can gauge commuting time at a normal walking pace to go from Sutton Place back to the action on Park Avenue. Hopefully I don't get distracted along the way. We'll see. As you guys know, after 10 p.m. my attention span goes to 0. So hopefully we don't have any dogs walk by. I love those big heavy cast iron window guards too. Okay, so we've gone from Sutton Place to First Avenue. You can see the Sutton Place wine shop right on the corner. I'm noticing a lot of empty retail space over here too. Keeping a mental note of that. Hey Lewis, is perfect weather and time to smoke some weed on the streets of New York City. Cheers from Brazil. Thank you for joining. Now you're about to see the Bloomberg building come into frame here in a moment. We explored that about 30 minutes ago on the stream. Trying to give you guys an interesting look to see what some of the lobbies of the buildings look like too. Okay, so this is the on-ramp to the 59th Street Bridge, and we are officially coming up to 2nd Avenue. Hey, it all says hello from Long Beach. Long Beach, California, or Long Beach, New York City? I mean, Long Beach, Nassau County. Now this company here is Senior Care Ambulance That used to be one of my biggest customers and one of my first customers back in the day. Senior care. Now, if you look all the way in the distance, you'll notice that huge building sticking up, that Steinway Tower. So that's an indicator that we're close to where we need to go. So we're only a few more blocks away. Passing a Whole Foods here. Ah, California, love it. Man, the rain is really starting to pick up. I may get out my umbrella here. You know, the first 60-degree day we have in a long, long time. It rains on the first 60-degree day we have, which is a bummer. All right, 3rd Avenue. It's good that we have the red light because I am going to open up the umbrella. Look at that. What kind of taxi is that thing, man? I saw the Toyota sign on it. Hey, Manny Explores, what's up? Thanks for joining. Good to see you as always. Trust you're well. We're doing a little bit of an experiment. We're seeing how long it takes to get from Sutton Place back to Park Avenue. My guess is we'll do it in what, 10 minutes? Something like that, maybe 10. Granted, it is raining out. On Park Avenue, just like it's the main business district. So I guess the theory there was, you know, a lot of people say that Sutton Place is just way too far away, which I get. It's a fair criticism, right? So let's see if it takes us like about a 15-minute walk to get into the heart of the action. Maybe it'll take a little bit longer, who knows? This is a cool diner. There's not a lot of original diners anymore in New York, which is a real big bummer. Honestly, it is. Because that's one of the best things about New York City, or was. All the original diners, 24/7, 365. You could walk in anytime. Now, if you want to know my go-to diner in the city, it's the Flame. It's over by Columbus Circle. I think it's on 9th Avenue. Okay, and we could stop the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How long did that take us? To go from 57th Street, Sutton Place, over to Park Avenue, 57th Street, where all the major banks, financial institutions are. And we're only a few blocks away from Central Park too. So, all right, rain is really picking up. Let me get out the umbrella. Why this is 9 minutes? That's not bad. All right, I gotta put you guys down for a second. Yeah, 9 minutes isn't bad. Although I think I walk a little bit faster than the average person, but so 9 minutes, that's, 9-minute walk. Not bad. Hey, Crushy or Cushy says you walk very fast and it's not rush hour. That's true. I'd like to consider myself a very experienced walker. I've been doing it a long time. I've been walking since probably 1996. So very experienced here. I know, Joe E says this is a completely different vibe from Sutton Place. That's what's so unique about New York City, right? We could be in a place all the way on the east side by the water where there's not a car in sight and not a pedestrian in sight. And then 9 minutes later, we're right on Park Avenue with people still just coming out of work at almost 10:30 at night. It's kind of interesting. I think that's one of the things I love the most about New York City, for sure. I may need to wipe the lens here again. Now, rain aside, right? How cool does Park Avenue look right now in the rain? Like, that's such an amazing shot. Hey, Patrick NYC, what's up? Good to see you. We'll check out the Ferrari showroom. This is East 55th Street and Park Avenue. Yeah, Oscar, so let's check the Formula One car on Park. Yeah, we just walked past that. We've been checking that out a lot on the streams lately. Maybe we'll double back and check it out. Pretty cool Ferrari here. Check out the orange one. I always say this when we walk here, but what a marketing genius plan this is, because if you look right across the street, this is 425 Park Avenue. This is the temporary headquarters of Citadel Securities. This is one of the most profitable and successful hedge funds on Wall Street. So as Ken Griffin is in his office, he could shop for a new Ferrari or an Aston Martin. Let's check out this other one. What do you guys think? You like the orange one the best or the blue one the best? Now, at the beginning of the live stream, obviously we covered Bitcoin's massive move, right? I don't think anybody could overlook that today. At one point in intraday trading, Bitcoin reached $64,000, just a stone's throw away from new all-time record highs. I think we're trading at $62,000 right now. But even more of a massive record, there was over $500 million worth of inflows just today. $500 million worth of inflows into the BlackRock Bitcoin Spot ETF, IBIT, which is just really unheard of. So it's a risk-on market. Investors are proving themselves to want to take on risk. Then we also had Salesforce, ticker symbol CRM, Mark Benioff, arguably one of the greatest CEOs of all time. Reported earnings today beat on both the top and the bottom line, but gave a little bit of lackluster guidance. The stock was originally down about 6% in after-hours trading, but it's really much pared all of its losses, and we're trading flat in after-hours trading. But earnings did beat on both the top and the bottom line, just the guide was a little low. The building we're looking at right now is Jefferies. Since we got the light, we might as well cross. And this will take us by the brand new Mandarin Oriental residences. Yeah, someone says MicroStrategy is $1,000 after hours. Now, if we really think about it, and again, I don't care what you guys, no, I do care, but I think you get the point. I don't care what anybody thinks about Bitcoin. If you like it, you don't like it, that's not the point. The point is, you know, Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy has been loading up his balance sheet with Bitcoin. That could potentially be the greatest trade of all time. And you know what's wild? I may say it, right? And again, this is regardless of what you think of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor may be the world's first. Now, I understand some of the Saudis and, you know, the Russian oligarchs are technically billionaires, but they're not. You know, they don't have to disclose their assets. I think you may see Michael Saylor being the world's first trillionaire. I really do. So this is the Mandarin Oriental Residences on 5th Avenue. Now it's interesting because back in the day, this is way back, Bill Gates should have been the world's first trillionaire. And I'm sure many of you already know this. But Bill Gates had a meeting with Warren Buffett. We're looking at the University Club right here. Now, Bill Gates had a meeting with Warren Buffett. This was way back. And Warren Buffett convinced Bill Gates to diversify his holdings of Microsoft. So he actually sold a large portion of the company, of his company Microsoft. And had he held on to his share, right, and never sold, again, this is looking in hindsight, Bill Gates right now would probably be worth like $1.3 trillion or 1.1 or something like that. Something crazy. So if all the projections, right, about if Bitcoin can take, 5% of gold's market cap, that would put Saylor, right, the amount of Bitcoin he owns, at over $1 trillion valuation. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just making a fun observation, just due to the times. That's all. So I put out a video yesterday, or today I think I put it out, of a narrated walking tour of New York City's Fifth Avenue. So you guys should check that out. It's an interesting video because I cover all of the major landmarks on New York City. Now right here, it's not a major landmark, but it is a brand new development. So this is the Mandarin Oriental Residences right here on the corner of East 54th Street and 5th. Now, the Mandarin Oriental Hotel is right at 59th Street, Columbus Circle. It's in the Deutsche Bank Towers. I believe the exact address is 80 Columbus Circle, I think. So if you like, the branded style of Mandarin Oriental and you have the money, you can buy a front row piece of real estate on New York City's Fifth Avenue in a branded Mandarin Oriental building. And I've been noticing something interesting over the years, that these branded condominiums have been becoming so popular. There was some breaking news yesterday out of Miami that Mercedes-Benz is going to be developing a branded condo with over 700 units. I think there's going to be a hotel component as well in Brickell. And Serhant is going to be leading sales on that development. Pretty cool. This is St. Thomas Church right here. Beautiful, beautiful St. Thomas Church. But what do you guys think? Do you think that all these branded condos are just like a passing fad? Or do you think they have some staying power here? What do you think? I think that is Mount St. Vincent. I remember back in the day, in my college days, we used to play Mount St. Vincent. Yeah, CPQ trainers, as we all need the Tesla residences. I'd buy a unit there. We're coming up on MoMA. It's one of my favorite museums in New York City right here. Here we are, the Museum of Modern Art. How many of you in the chat have been to MoMA? This is a fun experience. You can pretty much spend a whole day in here. West 53rd Street. It's open daily, 10:30 to 5:30. Saturdays it is open till 7 p.m. The first Friday of every month open until 8 p.m. Christmas Eve it closes at 3 p.m. I didn't even know that. This building is also pretty cool too. The facade is crazy. It's like a crystal facade. Doesn't it? Look at that, guys. I mean, it's probably not crystal, but it's like a very interesting textured glass. This is Museum Tower. Lee says I'm still waiting for the 2024 Model Y. Tesla's a long-term bet. You know, a lot of people are upset with Elon Musk right now because he's slashing prices, but he needs to. If we want EVs to go mainstream, right? If we want, you know, a Tesla to be in every single driveway across America, you need affordability. I think everybody would agree with that. Man, the wind is getting relentless here. We'll wait till the wind passes us. Hey, Carol H. is happy Wednesday, everybody. Carol, I will be in Miami next week. Super pumped about it. But the only thing I'm not super excited about is apparently it's supposed to rain all week when I'm in Miami. Hopefully that's not the case, but so far it looks like it's going to be a very cold and wet week. The first week of March. We'll see. But you know, it's the same in every sort of technological adoption curve, isn't it? The first products that come out, and we can kind of use the Apple Vision Pro as our guide. You know, the Vision Pro, Tim Cook didn't make the Apple Vision Pro for mass market. Okay, $3,500. He didn't make it for mass market. He made it for the true blue, you know, sort of like Apple fanboys and fangirls and the developers to sort of try out the product, you know, purchase the product so that they can start to double down on manufacturing capacity to try to drive costs down, right? It's the same thing in every, you know, the first generation product of anything is very expensive. Over time, as you build demand, you can then reinvest into manufacturing capacity to drive costs down, and that's when the product can go mainstream, right? So I think Elon Musk is doing the right thing. Now, it's short-term pain, right? Because a lot of people are losing a lot of money on the valuations of their Teslas, and I get that. But over the long term, right? I'd like to see a $20,000 Tesla vehicle. I'd like to see a $15,000 model. Now, I don't think it's going to get there like in a year, maybe not even 2 years. But in 10 years, yeah, I think so. And that's what we want, right? That is the goal. Is mass market affordability with a great product, and that's going to, you if Tesla can maintain margins, right? They took a huge hit to gross margins temporarily because they've been slashing costs. But if we can get those margins back even into the teens, I mean, that thing's going to be a cash cow. If you look at all of the other auto OEMs, okay, look at every other auto OEM as we're standing outside 53 West 53rd Street. This is one of the buildings on Billionaires Row. All the other auto manufacturers have mid-single digit margins, maybe, like in a good quarter, right? So if Tesla, this is the private restaurant for the residences, by the way. So if you own a condo at 53 West 53rd Street, you have an exclusive restaurant, which is awesome, crazy. But if we can drive costs down and maintain, teen gross margins, the thing is going to be a cash cow, which is great. So, stay tuned, I guess. Yeah, Justin says the audio keeps going in and out. Well, that's because it's like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts here. So we're just going to have to deal with it. I've noticed it's been unusually very, very windy this year. It hasn't been all that cold, it's just the wind has been relentless in New York City. It's crazy. Now this building is Steinway Tower. The skinniest residential apartment building in the entire world is right here. Wow, look at this thing. This looks, what is this, guys? This looks like a boiler, right? Any engineers or smart people in the chat that could tell us what this is? This looks like a brand new boiler that they have to replace in some building. That's another really good job in New York City if you can be in a union operating engineers. They make a lot of money. Wow, Carl says, Tom, I want my Tesla Model S range to be 800 miles with upgrades. Carl Roth, what are the odds, or what is the probability or likelihood that you'll ever change your Tesla model to like an X, or even the Cybertruck? What do you think? Would you ever give up your Model S for a Cybertruck or a Model X? Yeah, Patrick, New York is like, Tom, I specifically remember that. We were over by Grand Central Station, and the wind was so crazy, the wind was so ridiculous that it just totally launched my umbrella like 50 feet in the air. It was swirling around. JC, it would be included in their common charges. So you would pay a common charge, like an HOA fee to the building, and you get access to a restaurant. But the common charges are steep, obviously. Now, if anybody is curious about New York City's Billionaires Row, We filmed an entire standalone walking tour explaining every single building that was developed on New York City's Billionaires Row. We explained all of the developers, right? So who built them? We talked about how many units each building has, how tall each building is, what is the price ranges of those buildings, and what is the entire amenity package. So if you want to check that out, if you subscribe to the channel and you just click on our Walks in Wall Street main feed, you could scroll down to the video that says, I think it's just titled Billionaires Row. This is where billionaires live. So it's cool to kind of learn about it. Because even though all these towers are so tall and everybody sees them, it's a very, very mysterious place. But if you're all enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams every single night starting at 8:30. And we'd love to have you here. Also, we write a free investing newsletter for everybody in the group where we cover not only US equities, but emerging markets and all of New York City real estate. So if you're interested, by the way, a little bit of an update, to see what the inside of one of the apartments looks like at 157 West 57th Street. This is the last sponsor unit available in the building. I'm going to be sending it out to everybody tomorrow. So if you scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email, I'm going to be sending out the newsletter tomorrow right at the conclusion of the market, right at the end of trading. And we're going to include a property tour of the last available sponsor unit at 157 West 57th Street. You can just get a sense of how windy it is. Gosh, the wind is crazy. Okay. Wow. So this building right here, everybody, is 157. This was the first building ever constructed on New York City's Billionaires Row. And tomorrow we are going to be going up to the 32nd floor and checking out unit 32D. So again, if you want to see what it looks like on the inside, you can scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and we will email it to you tomorrow evening. I think I may need to plug in my phone here. But you know what, since we're so close to the train, and since it's so crazy windy out, I think we should just call it here, because we're going to be battling the wind, and I have to be up early anyway. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the live stream. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you're new, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 live from New York City, hopefully in some more favorable weather conditions. So Gadot, thank you so much. Patrick, New York, Brad's Brain, Justin, everybody, thanks so much for joining. Take care, be safe, and be prepared for tomorrow because it is inflation day. Yeah, we are going to be hearing from the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, the PCE. Pretty exciting stuff. All right, guys, always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. Take care, good night, and good luck. And God bless.